Is your life all over the place? All over the place, okay? I get it. It's fair. You haven't seen this video before. Understandable. I mean, it just came out. Or maybe it didn't. Who can really say? But what matters is that you're here with me right now. But I'm going to teach you how to organize it as well as the fundamentals so that the tips I give you here can actually apply to your life and not just to that of a YouTuber's life or someone who has their own schedule's life, right? That seems to be what you see everyone when it comes to, how do I organize my life? How do I get my thoughts on paper? Spoiler alert. How do I manage just basic crap? I feel like I'm all over the place. I feel like that's the reason I'm stuck in like this 9 to 5 in this corporate job, whatever. Like I don't have time for me. I don't have time for my family. I don't have time to think. You ever feel like that? I totally get it. All right, we're gonna fix that right now. Camera. Now, right off the bat, let me just tell you, today's video is brought to you by Tater. Tater edited this video. Would you like to say anything, Tater? Fair enough, Tater. Hey, but gamers, let's just get right into it, and hopefully I'll stop saying that. I really don't like Phil DeFranco. Gamers, so let me give you the fundamental right off the bat, immediately, so that if you get anything out of this video, let it be this. You want to get your thoughts out of your head and onto somewhere that will, no matter what, remember it. Preferably a digital space. If you prefer pen and paper, that's fine. That's fine, use pen and paper. Pen and paper remembers well. It's not backed up and synced everywhere, well, unless you bring your pad with you everywhere, but pen and paper works great, but I prefer Evernote, specifically, okay? Evernote and an app called MindMeister. All right, I'm just double checking for you, gamers, don't want to give you false information. Evernote and MindMeister. MindMeister lets you create sort of mind maps for projects, or like, you ever see those like web things where you have like a central idea and then it branches off and then that branches off and branches off and branches off. MindMeister is like that on steroids. I highly recommend giving it a go. All right, I'm not going to give you any specific tips past that because again, it's really tailored person to person what you actually do with something like that. But highly recommend MindMeister for really getting your idea is a sort of skeleton framework, if that makes sense, and your goals, ambitions, or even something that you're trying to practice and develop. MindMeister. I'll give you an example, right? Like, say I want to learn guitar. You'll have guitar in the middle, and you'll have like equipment on one branch, you'll have teacher on one branch, you'll have time of the teacher, scheduling it, stuff like that on another branch, and you can really work this out. All right. And the reason I recommend Evernote is because you need a place to put notes. All right, you need a place to keep track of things other than like a to-do list and a calendar, which we will of course get to. I'll give you my recommendations. Okay. But the reason you really need a centralized, synced to-do list is just so that, like, all your thoughts can conglomerate. So that you can do anything from abstract to specific ones, and specifically with Evernote, the amount of organizational features that they have and continue to add just make too much sense. All right, I avoided Evernote for the longest time, especially because of the premium version, you know, costing money for a notebook, like cringe. But it's well worth it. I use the premium version of Evernote. I don't use the premium version of anything. Okay? I am technically a student, so I could get Spotify for $5. I don't use Spotify Premium. But I use the premium version of Evernote. I think it's well worth it, but you don't need it. Don't let that scare you away from Evernote if you don't want to spend any money. The free version is well worth using. But Evernote just lets you think like, hey, do I have an idea? Just like a sentence. Put it out on Evernote. Do I want to create a profile for like a client, maybe? Like you want to keep track of what's important to that client. Like for example, if you're a realtor, you want to keep track of clients' wants and needs and stuff like that. You can make a little profile. Like it's just the best version of a notebook. Additionally, everything is searchable. That is honestly what I just love about Evernote. Everything is searchable and it's beautiful. Okay, and once you really use it for a while, it's like you'll start to realize, how did I ever live without this sort of thing? Your productivity will just, it'll blow your mind. Confirmed. But not in that way. We don't do gore here. Haha. Funny. I should just shut up and get to it. To-do lists. I've tried so many. I don't think there's a to-do list I've tried that wouldn't give you a virus. Like haven't tried that wouldn't give you a virus. I've tried a few that probably would, and did, man, more than likely. But I always fell back to Todoist. Okay, the one you've heard time and time again from all these get your life together YouTubers. All right, it's for a good reason. It's just organizational features, even for the free version. I use the free version of Todoist. The premium version is probably worth it. I use the free one. It lets you get your thoughts out, keeps that fundamental, while also keeping every single feature that you wanted of a to-do list, without having to sacrifice the whole complexity thing, right? Like here, let me explain that a little bit better. Usually, people want a lot of features, and then once they get them, it's just overwhelming, and it becomes a chore, right? Your to-do list becomes a chore. You don't want that. You're doing this to make your life easier, to clear your head and your thoughts, and to get things systematized. All right? To-do list has all the features, but it's really simple if you want it to be. It's really complex if you want it to be. It lets you plan out projects if you wanted to. It lets you make grocery store lists easily if you want to, without all this clutter. It's beautiful. I fully insist Todoist, all right? And go through the tutorial. Go through the tutorial of Todoist. It'll help you tailor it to, again, your specific life, not just the life of some YouTuber or realtor, like whatever, all right? Not the specific life of people making videos like this, but of your life and for your goals, okay? Todoist, I insist. And we're going to run through all the apps I suggest here. If you get them all down pat, trust me, your life will be swag, epic, and drippy. Confirmed. I'm pretty sure that's what they're saying these days, or at least what they should be. Now, calendar. Another fundamental piece. You need a good calendar. And of course, I'll always recommend Google Calendar to death. But it's not what I use. So I'm not going to directly talk about it here. I use a calendar called Woven. Woven has a free and premium version. The reason I use Woven is it's a lot like Google Calendar, but it's sexy. Okay. But no, here's what I love about Woven. So Woven acts a lot like Google Calendar in, really easy to schedule events. In fact, it has like drag features to let you like schedule events in the app that I think is just phenomenal. It tells you your availability just honestly in the best way I think I could explain. Just you kind of have to explore it to really get to know it. But the reason Woven is my go-to instead of Google Calendar, and it syncs with Google Calendar, by the way. So this is like, but the reason I go with Woven is it tells you your availability. All right, it has little bars. It tells you if you have overlaps with scheduling. It has the same. When you use the app to map somewhere on an iPhone, it directly goes to Google Maps if you wanted to, and that's amazing. But another great thing about Woven is that it directly syncs with your Google Calendar. So that if you get a lot of invites with Google Calendar and, like those file things where you need to, like, accept and schedule in invites from other people in your office or whatever, Woven syncs directly with that. And when you schedule an event in Woven, it syncs to your Google Calendar. And here's one great thing I love about Woven, okay? This is specific to Woven as far as I know. Woven lets you create links that you can send to people for them to schedule things with you based upon your availability. It's freaking epic, isn't it? Seriously. So, like, obviously it doesn't tell them what you're doing, but it tells them that you're busy. And that these are the times you want to pencil this in real quick. And then you'll get the request. You can accept, deny it. It's amazing. I highly recommend Woven. Now, let's go over these fundamentals real quick. You want to get your thoughts out of your head and onto online, somewhere else, somewhere that's a good storage. Your brain's amazing with making connections and stuff like that. And like, really, dang. Apparently not getting your point across. Your brain's amazing. It's not good storage. Okay, it's not good storage. It's not good hard drive. It's not good plan. Okay, I don't. So you need a calendar. Now, whatever calendar you might use, it doesn't have to be Woven. It doesn't have to be Google Calendar. It could be Apple Calendar, or whatever you might choose. You need a calendar. You need a to-do list. You need notes, and in my opinion, I think you really need a place to get your big ideas out, like MindMeister. If you really want to go somewhere with those. I mean, it makes them tangible, right? You can look at it. You can look at your idea. You can look at the steps necessary to make it happen. And then you can transfer over those specific tasks to your to-do list. and events to your calendar and ideas on your notes. And those 4 things, I think if you have them and actually implement and use them, will make all the difference. Now, we're not done. I have another fundamental that might not be for everybody, but I think has, again, made all the difference. Arguably just as much as the fundamental of getting your thoughts out of your head. It's minimalism. He's minimalism cult. Oh, God! No, not like that. All right. Minimalism, in my opinion, okay, should be described and adopted like this. It's just simply living very, very intentionally. And obviously minimalistically. Here's why this makes such a big difference. Cleaning for me, cleaning my whole house takes half an hour. Half an hour. And it stays that way. Now, I have furniture. Okay, I'm not one of those minimalists. I got silverware and stuff like that. Sure, I live alone, and I got much less to clean or take care of and look after, but there's so much less to keep track of. There's so much less occupying your mind space, all right? Everything is so aesthetically pleasing. Like, I'll have to do a house tour with you gamers one of these days. It's wonderful. I would highly recommend adopting minimalism and just doing kind of an audit of everything you have. Get rid of everything that you don't use. All right? Like everything. Everything you don't need. That's what I did. Hey, you don't have to go that far. As long as you're intentional with it and intentional with what you buy, and you know you're going to be using this for this specific purpose, and that it's not just cluttering up your brain and your space. And if it clutters up your space, it'll clutter up your brain and vice versa. You're going to be all right. Just live much more intentionally. All right, gamer? Hey, that's going to do it for today. I love you. Specifically you. All right, no more bonus tips. No more secret Easter eggs. You can click off this video now. All right. Got him! All right, if you're new here, which I'm sure you are, I bet you don't know about the fact that I like to give a little bit of affection. I kiss the camera, which is you. Okay? But, you know, since I do it every time, and by Webster's definition, that's normal, it's okay. Come here. You deserve it. Come on. Treat yourself. Ew. Oh, God, Tater, please censor that. Gamers, I love you. Specifically you. I don't mean to command you around, Tater. Hey, stay epic. Please implement these things. You'll be so much happier. Okay? Ever since I did, I was. That's for sure. And am. And you know what? We better talk soon. There's a lot to come. I got a lot more tips than this, trust me. These are just fundamentals. So hey, sub if you're interested at all, or if you're interested in challenge.